Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Modern Agent Blueprint. It's our first Modern Agent Blueprint of 2025, and I'm super excited because Nikki's with me here, and then we have Brooke and Marissa again. Now, I don't think we've really ever done a real intro with Marissa and Brooke before. I know that they've been on. You've probably seen them on the masterminds before. But I wanted to kind of do a little intro. So Brooke and Marissa are kind of a combo pack. They come as two. They are wonderful. So I actually hired Marissa's company to help me get my ish in order, if you will. I've been winging it for 6 years, just 5 years-ish. Really just winging it in business. And I know that there's a lot of things that I knew that there was a lot of things that I was missing, a lot of things I was overlooking, a lot of things that I wanted to implement in my business, but honestly did not have the time, energy, or bandwidth to do. So I hired Marissa to help me. She is one of the, and if I have your title wrong or whatever, please correct me, but she was the lady in charge over there at Mark Z's team. She helped with Mark and 𝗏𝗏. So for those of you who know who he is or who they are, they really both helped. And Brooke was Kurt's assistant, correct? Is that right? Yeah. And they basically have gotten this mega team on pretty much like, set it and forget it. Like they already have them pretty much ready to go. So they opened up their own business to help other agents. So I hired them. I have been very and this is not even a pitch for them, but just why they're on here more often and why you're seeing their faces more. I hired them because they're helping and they've been doing a lot of things over the last 6 months that part of this training that we're talking about today, we're going to talk about some of the things that they've implemented and helped me with in my business that has been such a so helpful and such a game changer. So I am just really thankful for both of you girls, first of all. And I'm glad that you're on here today because we're going to be talking about how to set up some oh my God, I'm stumbling over my words. Set up some systems and do some things in your business for 2025 to help you thrive, which I didn't realize rhymed until I said it out loud earlier. And I was like, oh man, I'm
You're
good
just
at
a
this.
poet this morning.
I know I should write all of this
This is
down.
getting brutal, Nicole.
um, so anyways, so thank you guys for all joining us today. I'm so glad that you're all here. I'm loving this noontime already. So, Brooke and Marissa, like I said, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that we've implemented into my business, things I've seen a good return on, and then kind of talk about some other things that people could be doing, systems they could be utilizing and stuff to help automate their business or things that they could be doing in their business to really thrive and grow this year. So Marissa, I'm going to hand it over to you or Brooke, whoever. I'm going to hand it over to you guys and let you go. And then we're going to kind of have like an open discussion too, a little bit about some of the stuff. And Brooke and Marissa have a super cool deal at the end too.
Yeah, thank you, Nicole. That was the best introduction ever. Thank you so much for that. We have loved getting to work with you these last few months, and it's just been fun diving into things like that's really what we love doing. That's our bread and butter is jumping in and working with people who have really great ideas. They have a great business foundation started, right? But maybe they're frustrated. Maybe they're feeling like, gosh, why am I just like spinning the wheel all the time? Like I'm just running, and I don't feel like I'm getting the traction I should be getting. Like there's all these other people out there doing XYZ, and I feel like I'm doing the same thing or better, and I'm not seeing the same results. Like that's if any of that relates to you, that's our sweet spot. We can come in and basically like what we first do with people is we just have this like brain dumping session. And that's a little bit of what we'll chat about today is whether it's like with someone else and you're bouncing ideas off of someone else, it could be us, a business partner, a friend, like literally anybody. Plan this brain dumping session for your year. Get all your ideas on paper. And then usually if you've ever been on a Zoom with me before, I'm at an office with like a giant annual calendar behind me. And Jeff knows this. Well, I see Jeff on here. He's another Austin fan, but Austin got me on this annual calendar like 3 or 4 years ago. And that was the game changer for me. And then this year with being out and about and with other clients and at other offices, I've moved to a paper calendar, which I still have my giant one in my office behind me, but have a calendar that you guys live out of that's not just the Google one on your phone telling your appointment for the day, because you need something that you can be really intentional with. And those are the couple things that we'll spend some time on today. And then like Nicole mentioned at the end, we've got one thing where if you're like, cool, I'm excited, this all sounds great, and I want to implement something today to start making these touches and start doing this for my year, we've got something. Brooke and I have been really nailing email newsletters for this last 6 months or so. And so we've got a month that we put together of you guys to give you a little sneak peek into what we've been working on. So you're going to walk away with a month of newsletters today, if absolutely nothing else, just done the ChatGPT prompts that go with it. And I know Nicole was just raving about some of the ChatGPT prompts that she's been working on and we've been working on, and the improvements with that the content can get better, the better your prompts are. So all of that, anyways, that's the high level of what we will be going into today. But at any point, you guys, like, do the little hand raiser thing, and I'll watch and see if like you're muting. I'll know you have a question for me, or raise your hand, because we really want this to be dynamic. We want it to be helpful for you. If you've got something you can add, we're talking postcards, and I know Nikki's a postcard queen and absolutely nails that. Like, if you have additional value to bring in, this is a mastermind. This is not just like Marissa and Brooke talk at you for 50 minutes and you're like, cool, thanks, see you later. Like, please jump in and ask us questions, be engaging, and because that's how we have found that people will get the most out of these conversations. So to kick us off, Brooke, do we have sharing power in general here? Yeah.
Oh, let me give you, who does it need to go to?
I
Brooke
might be.
Oh, there it is.
Looks like I already do, so we're good. And actually we can probably even not share for the most part here. Yeah, I'm just gonna take it back down. Who cares? I want to see your faces. The main thing that I wanted to touch on first was that brain dumping session. So again, whether it's us, whether it's a friend, a business partner, or whatever, take some time, like plan at least 4 to 6 hours. Like, guys, this is not just like a 2-minute, let's go grab a coffee and like have a quick little chat about business for 2025. This is, I want to dump my whole brain and just watch where that like mental capacity just starts freeing up when you put all of those ideas on paper and you get it out of your brain. It seriously, you will feel lighter after that conversation, just having it all written down. So this is usually one of the first things that we do when we start working with somebody, is we just jump on a Zoom or we come meet you in person, and it's okay, tell us everything that you've wanted to do that's worked really well, that you think brings the most business. We'll dive into some of your numbers. Like, you might not even, a lot of people, love you guys as realtors, don't know your numbers very well. So we'll pull those up and we say, okay, great. Where is your business coming from? What are we spending money on that maybe we shouldn't be? What's converting really well? What's not? Do we have a team of people that we should be looking at as well and analyzing some of their metrics? So we just dive into all the weeds. And then we say, great, what have we always wanted to do? For Nicole, as an example, there was like Popeyes that she had wanted to be doing and a few other things. And we're like, cool, how do we actually get this off your list? What's been getting it stuck? Why hasn't it happened? And Nicole, if I could use you as an example on this, can we chat about the Popeyes a little bit? Okay. So Popeyes for Nicole, she found all these super cute ideas for different holidays or things that she wanted to do Popeyes for. And she's like, I would buy the things, I'd start to put them together, and then like, well, you have to go and drive and you have to go give them to all these people, right? Like, that's a pain in the butt. Or you have to mail them, and then that's a different experience. But like, I want that touch, I want that love and that gift that it like, that's a really, really high valuable thing to give and deliver to past clients. She's like, I see the value, I know the value. So she had like a year worth of Popeyes for different holidays and seasons, and they just never made it out. So we're like, cool, this is one thing we are going to get done together. So we said, okay, if the biggest hurdle is truly the driving, right? Like, you can put it together, we can assemble it, we can figure out who we want to send them to. You find the cute things, which we're not ordering anymore either. We're going to use what we got because we got a year's worth of stuff. So we put together some Popeyes and we just split up the list and we made it happen. So it's sitting down and figuring out like, what are your hurdles? And your hurdle might look different. Maybe there's budget things that we're working within for the year. Maybe there's time. Maybe it is driving. Maybe it's the help and just the mental capacity. Maybe you've got kids running around, whatever the season of life you're in is, right? So we just go through all of that. Like, why hasn't these things happened? Why aren't they getting off your list? And then, great, let's figure out the solution. And we're actually going to implement that. We're going to get it done. We're going to get it off your list. I had another client, and sometimes it's silly things, right? Like, I had bought Starbucks gift cards to do a giveaway for, and I only ended up using half of them. Well, now I have all these physical cards and I should just put them in my Starbucks account. So that way, when I'm spending or I'm taking clients out for Starbucks, then it's in my account and I'm using them versus a stack of cards sitting in my desk drawer. we had brought in an assistant for her and trained her, and that was just on her list forever. And it literally, those little things, you might not realize it, those little things take up mental capacity because it's on your to-do list forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And so it was sitting in her drawer, and I'm like, Holly, first thing you're going to do today is just go upload those to Kim's thing, because it takes her 45 minutes to sit there and click all the buttons. It'll take you 5, and then it's off the list. And just getting those silly things cleaned up off of a task list are a game changer. We got to figure out what the whole list is first. So that's first and foremost, friends. Sit down, have that 4 to 6 hour brain dump. What are all the things that you wanted to accomplish this year? What's all the stuff that's getting in the way? And then how do we get around that? What thoughts or ideas, or Nicole, I don't know if you have anything to add on that from like our brain dumping conversations we've had, but that is truly like the first step when we're doing annual planning.
Yeah, it was honestly really, really helpful. And I agree with you that it helped get all of that crap that I've been like mulling around. Like I know Julie's brain is like this too. Like you have all these things that you want to do and you have all these ideas, and we follow certain people on social media and we see all these cute things that they're doing. And we're like, man, I want to do that. I want to implement that. And then it's like, let me buy the program, or let me buy the course, and let me buy all this stuff and do all these things. And then you just never do it. So having that brain dump. Now I will say, first of all, guys, 4 to 6 hours sounds insane. It doesn't have to necessarily be 4 to 6 hours, Brooke, or Marissa. I'm like, get it out, get it on paper, talk to somebody, do something, get it out, then start diving in, or start like Marissa was great because it was like word vomit, like stuff just came out. She was just taking notes furiously, like just writing all the stuff down. And then Brooke categorized it all and then broke it down into like sections. And I was like, this is what I needed my whole life. Like, I just needed to get it all out of my head. And I needed it to be like, here's all the things. So it wasn't 4 to 6 hours just doing that. It was like, you're going to need this time to break things down bit by bit. And thankfully I had you guys to do that, because this is obviously took way too much of my brain power to even bother doing. So I really appreciate the fact that the brain dump was the first thing, because I think it also, think it was the beginning of the year. And for me and Brooke and Marissa, when we first started working together, you guys were like, how can I help you? What do you need? And I was like, I need all of this, like all of these things. And you guys have made it a lot more manageable. And that's been really, really helpful. So I think just, even if it's not getting something down with somebody, like write it all down, then maybe talk to somebody about it, or start implementing. Like, let's say, what is the biggest thing that you want to accomplish this year? Maybe your biggest thing is you want to do, you want to farm an area. Well, what does that look like? And that's where Brooke and Marissa also broke it down. Okay, what does that look like to you? You want to farm this luxury neighborhood. What does that look like for you? Are you doing mailers? Are you doing Popeyes? Are you doing CMAs? What are you doing? And then how often are you doing it? What do you need to do in order to do that? What is your goal for the end of the year? And to kind of reverse engineer it and figure it out. And that's where, like Marissa talked about her calendar. She puts everything on her calendar. So like for my client event last year, we had it on the calendar. And then she was like, okay, we need to order pumpkins, and we need to order this, and we need to do this. We need to have all this stuff done. Here's the dates that we need to do that. So then the problem I had before was that I would literally get a reminder on my phone that was like, hey, remind everybody about the client event. And I was like, crap, I never planned that client event. I forgot all about it. So then you're kind of screwed, because it's too late to do any of the stuff. So having that written out earlier, or like if you're going to do stuff Q1, Q2, 3, 4, buy your stuff for Q2 and Q1. So then you're not rushing to try to get everything. And maybe you want to do Valentine's. Well, if you're buying stuff in January instead of February 10th, you're going to have a lot more options. So think about what you're doing, think about those things in advance. That's what's going to help, I think, propel a lot of people, is just writing down what you want and what you need, and then dividing it up.
Yeah. Julie, did you have something to add? I saw you had unmuted, and then I've got another thought.
Well, just Jasmine said, I appreciate that you said 4 to 6 hours instead of 15 minutes. Because she says I have more than 15 minutes of stuff, which that's where you need a person, whoever it is, because you'll sit down with good intentions for the 4 to 6, and it won't happen because you'll get distracted by something else. Even if you time block it. I'm sorry. all of this falls into the time blocking thing, doesn't it? Right? Because
A little bit,
one
yeah,
more thing,
yeah.
there will be a situation, there will be a phone call, there will be a text. So,
Well, it
so
did help, like sitting with Marissa and Brooke.
right, that's where I
phone-
think you need an accountability partner.
My phone
You're
was
not
off
hiring
to the
someone.
side. Yeah, my
Right.
phone's off to the side. I'm not
Okay, they didn't
taking
let you
phone calls.
answer it?
I didn't know. I didn't. Like, I had it in my calendar for this. Like, we just did our business planning. I mean, and she told me 5 hours, and I was like, oh my God, there's no way it's gonna be 5 hours. We were there, I think, 5.5.
And you didn't answer a call during that time?
I don't think
She
I
didn't?
No,
did.
we were pretty good.
No,
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I don't
no.
think I
Good
did.
job. Okay,
Yeah.
good job. Okay.
Yeah.
I
And it's
was
not
gonna
that like we're
say
strict on that. Go ahead, Brooke.
I was gonna say just like on this point, when we're doing business planning, it's very common for people to say, like, I'm sure all of you have set Q1 goals, right? I'm gonna do this in Q1. Or even like a big one I've been hearing from a lot of people is like, this is the year I'm gonna do YouTube, right? Everybody says they're gonna do YouTube this year, right? Which is great. I love that plan. Are you doing it in Q1? Are you doing it by the end of the year? Because a lot of us are gonna get to October and say, oh my God, I said I was gonna do YouTube and I haven't done it. So I have somebody that I'm working with on YouTube. Well, okay, I said, well, Q1, let's work with something reasonable. Q1, we're gonna get our first video up. Well, that's so far out. Yeah, but you aren't gonna do it if we don't break it down like this. So Q1, we're gonna have the first video up and we're gonna clap for ourselves and say like, good job. But you know what that means for January? Our description's done. We named our channel. We have a profile picture. We have a banner. We have an intro. We have an outro. We're already halfway done and it's January 7th. But if we wouldn't have broke it down like that and I wouldn't have given those due dates, we would have been nowhere at the end of March. So it's hard to like relate to that, right? And that's kind of where we're going to go into is like, we say we're going to do these things, but unless you break it down and actually set up your implementation, you're never going to actually do it. We're salespeople. It doesn't happen. Well, I'm not, but you guys all are.
Well, and it is hard. I mean, I raised my hand because I'm one of those people who've had YouTube on my list for 3 years, but it is what you just said. It's, oh my gosh, well, I can't post a video because my banner's not done. And if my banner's not done, then, I can't, nobody's going to know who I am. And if I don't, like, who am I going to have edit the video? Am I going to edit the video? Now I got to search video editors on Fiverr. Like, what if they're terrible? Like, and then all of a sudden it's like, this is too much. I will do this another day when I have more time. So if you can break it down, or you have somebody, again, for all of you who've read the book, Who Not How, Brooke and Marissa are my who, because I can't figure it all out. So if you haven't read Who Not How, read it. It's a great book, but it is, it's really important, I think, to start breaking those things down into bite-sized chunks. Like I've said that on many of these masterminds, you have to take bite-sized chunks. You can't just jump and eat the whole elephant at once. You have to break it down little bits by bits so you can get these things done. So maybe, like Brooke said, maybe you say, okay, today I'm just going to choose the photo for my banner. I'm just going to do this one thing. I'm going to do this thing. And then maybe that is just, choosing a background or whatever it may be, like breaking down these little things. So then you can implement that into your business plan for moving forward. And then before you know it, you'll be recording videos and you'll have the editor, you'll have everything ready to go. And then it's just seamless, but it takes time. You can't just expect to have it all figured out on day one.
And then the other thing I'll add on this same note, and then we'll move on to the next, actually I have like 2 side things on this topic and then we'll keep going. So first one is if you're with an accountability, you're with whoever you're chatting, doing your brain dumping with, right? Right at the top of whatever the heck you're dumping on, why? And you're going to ask yourself every single time that you come up with something, why? And why are we doing this? Because there's a lot of times where, like Nicole had mentioned, we see this cute new thing on social media. We went to an event, our friend is doing something well. So that means then I want to implement that in my business. Us realtors, I swear we get marketed to on more crap than any other industry in the entire world. And we have like shiny object syndrome. So we're always like, new thing, new thing, new thing. So if you want to be a referral-based realtor, why are we spending money on Zillow leads? Because it's the trendy, cool thing to do. And I'm supposed to have Zillow or realtor.com or some sort of online lead, or do I actually want to spend time converting that lead source? If I want to bring in an agent, I'm trying to find leads for them, then great. Love that answer. Let's get some online paid leads or something, or let's work with a lender, or let's do this. And again, you break it down from there and say, great, what are we doing to make sure that that agent on our team then follows up with all these leads? What do you have in place to nurture them too? Because we know our agents are not going to follow up with them properly. So then it's what, why, why? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Because it's not just, oh, I'm going to buy internet leads this year and I'm going to implement that for my business to try and get 10 new closings. Okay, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? You got to break it down from there. And that's where Brooke was going with the, okay, here's what I need to do this month if that's my goal for this year, and breaking it backwards. But the first step is just getting that all on paper. I want to close internet leads this year. I want to be a referral agent this year. I want to do 2 events to nurture my clients and ask for referrals and up my reviews this year. So then I'm going to implement a VIP program and we're going to do gift cards and we're going to do this. Whatever it is, why are we doing this? Why is it important? And then what are we doing to back it up throughout the whole year? Because it can't just be, none of this stuff really is a one-time set it and forget it. We have to be intentional for it to work properly. And there's got to be some energy around it consistently throughout the year for you to see those results. So that's the biggest thing, is just dump it and then ask yourself, why? Why do I care? Because you might also just have too many things going on in too many directions. And that's why you're feeling burnt out. You're trying to give energy to 4 or 5 different lanes. And you're like, whoa, why? I want to close 50 transactions. This could generate me 120, but like, I don't really want to do all that. And so then I'm burnt out and I'm not doing any of it well. And shoot, I only closed 30 last year because I didn't do anything well. And okay, well, it's because we were trying to do 5 things below average. So like, that's part of it too, is just looking at where is all of my energy going and why? Why am I doing all of these things? Where do I want to spend my energy? And then crush it there and make sure it's really intentional. It's really thought out. You've gone from the annual to the quarterly to the monthly to the weekly to your daily and broken it down that way. And that's the way you're going to get intentional. And then I have one thing to add on the YouTube, because this was interesting. I follow a guy on social media he's like who I lean on a lot, I guess is an interesting way of putting it, but I use his research a lot because that's his whole thing. He like is a research crazy person for marketing. And this shocked me. So you know how they will release, or they'll say like, oh, Instagram now you need to be using the hashtags as like SEO or whatever, right? Like that was a big thing this last year. Like people don't Google as much anymore. They're going to use Instagram hashtags like it's a Google SEO. So like use your hashtags that way. That was the whole thing I feel like I heard everywhere this last year. Well, now, interesting, the breakdown, and like there's not exact numbers on it. It's just like little charts. But there's a breakdown of like how people use or what they're using as a Google, like as their search engines when they're going to research information. Guess what the top 3 are? Because I guarantee you not one person on this entire Zoom could come up with the top 3 things that people are using to search if they're going to look for information. Anyone got like a crazy one?
TikTok.
Okay, Julie, TikTok. What else do you think?
I've heard it's TikTok for sure.
Jeff, what was yours?
What do you think, Jeff?
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Okay.
YouTube.
Nikki says YouTube. What other guesses do we have?
Reddit. I don't know.
Okay, Julie's got Reddit. Any other final guesses?
I would say Google, but it sounds like it's not Google. I would say Google first answer, but it sounds like it's not, so I'm not going to say it.
She told me what they are, so I can't guess.
Oh,
Yeah. Google's not on here. So I think it's like in replace of Google, or like what they're using as
instead of,
search engine.
okay.
So like Google doesn't
Okay.
technically count.
okay.
So Julie, you got one with Reddit. Reddit is the highest as a search engine from this last year. Reddit. Didn't know that. I don't even think I've ever logged in on Reddit except for like when it maybe pops up in a Google search or something else, right? Like
That's the only
I'm never
reason I
using
would.
Reddit.
If it happened to come up in my Google search, I would go to it, but I
People
wouldn't.
look for realtors on Reddit too.
They do?
They're
I didn't
apparently
know
they're
that.
searching for
Oh my
everything
God.
on
I
I
Reddit.
get a
That's
ton of
number
leads
one.
from Reddit.
Yeah, inspectors
wild.
too. That's Julie. That's how my client ended up with that 8-hour inspector.
Oh man, that
was
dude.
Reddit.
Okay, what are the other 2?
Wild. LinkedIn.
Oh man.
So I have heard this last year. More and more people are like, you're sleeping on LinkedIn. You're sleeping on
What do they
LinkedIn. Like
look-
that's been like a trendy thing to say, but they're
Is this-
searching for business professionals on LinkedIn.
yeah.
And they're looking at like your bios and your reviews and just how you're putting yourself out there. Like it's a professional social media platform. So when they're looking for professionals, they're going there
Yeah.
instead of like, okay, what's Marissa's friends and family up to on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So LinkedIn is where they're going for
Are we talking
professionals.
realtors, Marissa? Is this for realtors?
In general, it's everything. It's
Okay,
all
just
like
any
how
information
people,
you're looking
Yep.
for? LinkedIn,
Yep.
really? Because if you're
LinkedIn.
not looking for a business professional, why are you on LinkedIn looking for any other information?
Probably just businesses in general, I would think.
Business professionals, business
Mhm.
professionals are searching for other business professionals,
Yeah.
and people have an expectation
My last
of
listing was
LinkedIn that if
for
you're, if you're
But it
on
wasn't- they
LinkedIn,
already
they
knew
believe
me,
that you're
but-
also successful. It's a success status. Like the people that
Yeah.
are active
I
in
mean, that's
business
a-
are active on LinkedIn. That's like what they think.
But that if they're looking for someone, not just information about anything.
Yeah, I would think more like it's business and people. Like if they have any sort of searching they're doing for any sort of business, any sort of person, any sort of, but even think like
Right.
your caterers, your balloon person, your anything, right? Anything event related, anything,
True.
whatever.
true.
Like they have a LinkedIn profile. So, and then the last one, okay, this one, in addition to Reddit, was probably the most shocking to me. Ready? Pinterest.
Oh, yeah.
Pinterest. That like blows my mind. I've been on Pinterest for 7 million years, just
I
pinning
search on
like my
Pinterest.
nails and my
I search on
event
Pinterest.
things. Yeah, like
Hmm.
I
I
love
use it like
Pinterest.
as a genuine search engine.
But what are you
Yes, yes.
searching for? Like when you go on
Yeah.
Pinterest, what are you searching?
So personally, a
I've
lot of
searched
go
how
ahead, Brooke, go ahead.
to's.
How to?
It's all how to's for me usually. So
Yeah.
like or like if I want to save money, I say like like you can literally search on Pinterest like saving money in 2025, and there's a million articles that come up and different templates, and I'm visual. So for like a visual learner, I know I'm getting something visual in return. I mean, I actually just searched how to air fry chicken on there.
Yeah,
And it
So
popped
all
up
of
on the
your
picture.
food
It said
stuff.
8 minutes, this, whatever. Yeah, my food, 100%.
all of anything food,
business and money.
anything home decor, anything as far
Yeah.
as like people are even searching like their decorations and what home renovations and like anything that you do as far as like blogging for real estate should be going on Pinterest. And then do it with like some sort of hooky thing and the fact of like think more like home decor or upgrading your home value or things like that, and play to what people are searching on Pinterest. And it's nice too because it'll show you what's trending and like what people are looking for. And sometimes like if I'm just like bored and scrolling, I'll just click on that. I'm like, why are people searching blah 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 weird thing? Like that seems weird to me, but it's trending. I'll click and just see what all comes up on it. And like air fryer things, like think of what we put in newsletters. It's things that aren't necessarily related to real estate, but I want to be their value. I want to be the one that's in front of them for everything and their like normal home life. So that way I'm in front of them all the time. And when they're ready for real estate, I'm the no brainer. I've been in front of them. So I would think of it that way too. If it's anything to do with like home life, I want to create a blog for it. I want to create a pin for it. And then the website, when they click, drive them to your blog, drive them to your email newsletter, drive them to your website and get the home evaluation or whatever. If it's a home reno one and it's do these 5 upgrades to your home to increase your value in 2025. Cool. We'll take it to the link that then tells them what their home is currently worth on your website and boom, leads. So I'm like, that was freaking genius. And YouTube is actually down. And this is what totally made me think of this too. YouTube, I don't know if you can see this. YouTube, look at that, down
that's
like a crap
Huge
ton.
decrease. Yeah, that's a huge decrease.
Since like just before 2020, it started tanking. So
Well,
that was what I
you
thought was
can
surprising.
lower that threshold for wanting to do YouTube because it's tanking. Put your energy
Yeah.
into something else and don't worry about making videos and banners and all that stuff.
Yep,
I'm
exactly.
sort
That's
of kidding. I'm teasing you, Nicole.
Well, no, I'm saying like I think it's important. I mean, if you're gonna make a piece of content, share it across all platforms. Like if
Yeah.
you're gonna spend the time and energy to do it, put it on LinkedIn, put it on Facebook. Nikki has been putting stuff on LinkedIn forever. She's actually a lot of her stuff. It's really impressive. I mean, she's really good about cross posting across everything. So like Pinterest, I guess maybe, I don't know. You probably don't do Pinterest, Nikki, do you? No, we have actually had somebody on here about Pinterest before though. So we have had, I think we actually have had her on once or twice, where she's talked about utilizing Pinterest as a realtor. I think it's on our YouTube page, but
I'll look it up. Let's bring them back.
speaking of YouTube pages. But yeah, so I mean, I think that there is a lot of interesting ways to do things. And, you know, like that girl who's been posting on Pinterest for the last 5 years, this
Mhm.
was never a huge thing, right? Like people weren't always looking on Pinterest unless you were looking for birthday party ideas or wedding ideas or nail inspo. But now people are using it more often. Like Marissa, when you were just talking about newsletters and stuff and being that person of knowledge. So think about like when Sherwin-Williams puts out their color of the year, or you want something like, what are, you know, don't paint your house dark white. Paint, you know, use a neutral color. Here are my top 5 neutral colors. Like putting things out there like that are really helpful and really useful to people. And that could be in your newsletter. That could be a video. That could be a YouTube video. That could be a reel. That could be anything that you want it to be. So just think about content in a more broad spectrum instead of I'm only making a YouTube video. I'm only making a reel. Because I also should be sharing my reels to TikTok and vice versa. And because I'm not great about using TikTok. And I know a lot of people kill it on TikTok and a lot of people do really well on YouTube, but I think it's also just where you've been putting all of that energy. So, you know, keep doing what you're doing. Anyways, okay.
Yeah. Nicole, that's actually a great segue into newsletters, because this is something that we will probably, a hill will die on for a while. That newsletters are just such a dang good foundation for your business, and everyone in real estate should be doing them. But there's a trick to it to get the open rates, to get the responses, to get the engagement. Is you don't want to just be putting all this real estate crap in front of their face, because that's what they're not going to open, right? Like no one wants to see another weekly market update. No one wants to see your next listing. You sprinkle it in because we know that it needs to get in front of them. But the key is sending hyper local things and things they actually care about. But then to go on what we were just talking about, reuse that content. So we've got newsletter templates and ChatGPT prompts and things built out to set you up for success. And we're going to share those with you guys today. But then use this same content because it works. It gets people engaging. Our open rates are between 40 and 60% on average. And our latest campaign that we've been trying is up to 80% on the whole campaign as our average. So like these are dang good. People are opening them. And then use that same concept. If you were talking about a restaurant in one of the emails, talk about that same restaurant in your Instagram post, and then talk about that same restaurant in your Facebook, just generic post that you're putting out there, right? Like type it and be like, hey, I just tried Grand Castor. I'm going there tonight, so I just top of mind. Grand Castor, and I liked the blah, blah, blah appetizer. Have you guys been there before? What else do you like for Mexican that I should try next? Like put that as the Facebook post. So use the same thing everywhere. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to feel like I'm just like on repeat, or then it gets boring, or then people might not engage. The same people that are on your Facebook are not on your Instagram. And even on Instagram, the same people viewing your reels are not viewing your carousels, are not viewing your stories. Those are 3 different audiences, at least in like the 90% world, right? Like a couple people that are like your biggest fans in the whole world might end up seeing it a couple places, but then good for them. So you can reuse this same content throughout. Put it on LinkedIn, put it in your website, put it wherever. Adam, let's see what you just said. Better solution, posting on all these platforms can be exhausting. So no. And here's why. Because love you. It works better if you post organically and authentically to the platform.
That's what Nikki just said.
Yeah. There are systems out there that can cross post and do some things for you, but it just doesn't get the same reach, unfortunately. Okay. But it is at least it is helpful to have the same content, because then I'm not like spending the hours coming up with the content. I can reuse that same picture of me at the restaurant in all 6, 7 of those platform places, and it's just a one and done. And I just have to sit down and get that content out.
Like I use Business Suite, and then you do Facebook and Instagram, and then like I'm just like, oh my god, then I have to post. Now you're saying Pinterest, Reddit, LinkedIn. I'm like, oh my god, am I supposed to spend half my day posting to social media?
So no, that's when we hire a VA and they do it for you. Okay. So no, that is not highest and best use of your time.
Okay, but like I just wanted to I wanted to share something really quick. So on Brooke helps with some of my posts for my team page, and she's done some reels, and my account for my team is, we don't have a lot of followers on there yet.
Your account is good.
Thank you. For our team account, we don't have as many followers. We're low. We don't even have 200. So if y'all want to follow them, that'd be great. Nest Real Estate Group. But when she cross posts from Instagram to it goes to my personal business or my personal page. Now, Brooke will tell you, I always get a little snotty about it. I'm like, man, I don't want that going to my page. But then I realized, one, who cares? Like, nobody really gives a crap about what I'm posting, but I get way more views on Facebook than I do on Instagram. So I'm not mad about it because she's posting these things for me on Pinterest, or I'm sorry, now I'm on Pinterest, on Instagram, and it's getting cross posted over. And, you know, while it is on my personal page, I had somebody, they have their house listed with me, and they're like, oh, I saw that video. So I went through, you talked about organizing closets or something and cabinets. So I went through and organized all my towels and did all this stuff to make it look really nice. So then when people open the cabinets, it doesn't look like I just threw everything in there. And I was like, good idea. Thanks, Brooke. But it does, like, those things, like, people see that stuff that would not see it on Instagram. So don't like fret about posting back and forth. It doesn't really matter. And I need to just get off of my own little high horse over here.
Yeah. The other thing too to keep in mind, and kind of to your point, Adam, is don't also, like, you do not have to post on 17 platforms just because like they all could drive traffic. Pick 2 or 3 and do those really well. And then if you have more energy to take on a 4th, great. If you've got more energy to take on a 5th, great. But like, don't feel like you need to do 17 platforms and then you're overwhelmed and that's all you're doing is marketing. And then you're not calling your clients that raised their hand from an email or from a post that you did. And then you're not converting anybody. And then you do your business and you're like, well, this all sucks.
It just, like, when you get busy, I feel like it's hard to keep doing all the things.
Yeah.
Like this weekend, we held a mega open house and it went really, really well. And then I'm like, oh my God, I have all these leads. I have all these people that are calling. It's like, oh my God, I'm not posting on social media. I just don't have time to do it.
A good little hack with open houses, when I felt like I was getting overwhelmed all the time, you have a lot of downtime at open houses, usually, unless it's like super successful and so busy.
We had
But
over 30
I always
people.
made plans for like you can plan out, you know, like fit what you're gonna do while you're at the open house and just like 2 in 1, right?
Yeah, if it's swamped, you don't have time to do much of anything, but it will, I mean, if you hire a VA or you know, have Brooke and Marissa help you with this stuff, that's where, like, you know, you work on, like, Nikki, I saw Nikki came to your open house, like, maybe team up with somebody, have Nikki come in, take some videos, take some stuff of you working with other people or whatever, have a helper. You know, a lot of times I bring a second person to an open house with me. That way I'm not the only one who can talk to people.
Yes.
And then if there's somebody else there, then they can help with other things. I try to bring somebody else with me every single time. A lot of
We
times,
just started teaming up today on videos. Like, we just made a quick video out in front of the listing, like, hey, this is what we did this weekend. You know,
Yeah.
it's successful. We had multiple offers. You know, so that's another thing I have to do, Marissa.
I'll add it to the list.
Jeff, go ahead and come off mute and tell us what your question is or comment is.
Yeah, I just had a comment. So I'm bringing over a guy. We're opening an office together here where we're at, and he's coming over from Remax, but he is like the social media guru. He posts and creates these epic videos that he does all himself. And so since we've like linked back up, he has just been like dissecting my social media. Everything I do, I get a text like, hey, dude, you really should do this, 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 say it this way, this way, this way. And the one crazy thing that like he told me was Canva is the algorithms on all the social medias do not like Canva. So even though we all just got Canva Pro and all that, and we're all using that the algorithms actually don't like it. So he's like, you know, your Facebook feed's filled with just sold, just listed, and it's all Canva'd up. He goes, it's way better to just take a picture of your clients and then a picture of you with the clients, a picture of the house, and make that post just those pictures. And then, you know, do your captions and all that stuff the same or whatever. But like, I'm learning so much. Reels are like the #1 thing to be posting. He doesn't have a business Instagram. He keeps his Instagram the same, his business and his personal. But yeah, everything from this guy is just unreal. That I was like, dude, I just got really freaking good at Canva. Like, what are you talking about?
Okay, so we need you, every time he gives you a tip, come into Modern Agent Blueprint, type it out into a post and let us know. We can have like tips from Jeff. Okay.
Yeah.
As soon as he switches over, we could hold one of these like Zooms like this and just let
Yes.
him do
There
it.
you go.
Absolutely. I think, I mean, and you know, it's ever changing, right? So like that is part of this too. We have to stay up on everything. So like finding somebody, these experts in these areas, like the Pinterest girl, or like this guy with Instagram, or like the people who know some of the Canva hacks or know some of the YouTube hacks and all that stuff, finding those people and following them, copying what they're doing. I mean, maybe not verbatim, but copying some of the things that they're doing are like, you know, that's why we call it Modern Agent Blueprint, right? Because there's a blueprint for success. We're not reinventing the wheel constantly. Although things are constantly changing, it's all basically the same. We just have to learn these like little nuances, right? So thank you for sharing that. That's very interesting to know. A couple of things I wanted to go over were I think we had so many things to talk about. I know we're going to come back to your newsletter, so I want to make sure we come back to that. But I want to talk about a few things that have really helped my business this year. CRM optimization. So I know this makes you want to puke. It makes me want to puke every time I talk about a CRM. It's gross. It's the ugliest word, or acronym, I should say. But get your CRM in order. I'm still working on mine. Marissa, when did we start this? June or something? I'm still working on it. So this is not a, you know, we're going to have this all wrapped up in 2 days, right? Depending on how far, you know, you've been in business, however long you've been in business, you're going to have a lot of people in there. I'm still using 𝗡𝗶𝗄𝐶𝗏, but I also have another one that I'm using. There's like 6, right? So this was part of my issue when I hired Marissa. I was like, okay, so I'm using 𝗡𝗶𝗄𝐶𝗏. I also have Ren. I did use LionDesk. And like, there's so much, like, it's just bonkers. But work on getting your CRM in order, because once you have your CRM in order, you're going to be able to optimize it and set people up on campaign drips. There's a ton of campaigns out there that are already set up in some of these systems. So, you know, get your CRM in order, work on that. The way that I found it the easiest is to just start with 1 letter a day. Do all your A's, do all your B's. What we did to help me out this last time was, because I was uploading all of my personal contacts. And there's like my ex-husband, my massage lady, my dentist, like take those people out. All the people who you don't want to market to, get them out of your CRM. They don't need to be in there. And then start working on your alphabet, you know, and maybe it's start from Z, work to A, whatever it might be. Let's see, I see, Ren 360. Yes. We would recommend staying with 𝗡𝗶𝗄𝐶 or another one. I do hear, like you just said, Marissa, a lot of people like Follow Up Boss. I mean, it just depends on whether you want to pay for it or use what you have, right? So if you're at the point where you want to use what you have, you can always transfer your CSV file to the new system. So if you can get your crap in order, it'll make life a lot easier when you try to transfer it over. So just keep that in mind. If you don't want to pay any extra fees, use what you got. And obviously, as everybody always says, your CRM is only as good as you are. You got to make sure everything is in there, and then you have to use it. So if you're, you know, if a Google spreadsheet is better for you than a CRM, fine, but you're not going to be able to have those people on campaign drips. So just consider that. A couple other things.
Nicole, can I add a quick note on the CRM thing? So on the CRM, this is something Nicole and I've talked about a few times. Also, don't just not send campaigns because we're worried that like my nail tech might still be in my CRM. Just get them on there, and then she'll either unsubscribe, she'll respond and be like, okay, Nicole, this is weird. Or like she literally won't respond. And then 6 months from now, you'll be sitting getting your nails done and she'll be like, oh, I have someone for you. Great. So like, don't not send things and don't start a campaign or not start a campaign because you're like, oh, I haven't gotten through my whole list or I haven't cleaned things up yet. Just get everybody on an email and a texting drip, period, like ASAP. Those are the 2 best things that can work for you and get hand raisers for you for very minimal effort on your front. And your CRM should have some texting campaigns and probably email campaigns, but email we can get to again in a second. But those should be built out for you within your CRM. You can always improve them. You can always make them more your own, but just get something turned on. And that's one reason that like I don't love 𝗡𝗶𝗄𝐶𝗏 as much, is because the automation that's in there is not as great. And then part number 2 is your CRM should also be stupid easy at telling you who the heck that you should be calling today. And if it does not do that for you, it's not the right CRM. So in some capacity, it should say, here's my 5 people that have raised their hand and I need to call them. Here's my 5 people whose birthday it is today. Here's my 5 people whose home anniversary it is coming up this week and I want to send them a gift. Here's my 30 people that I haven't talked to in 90 days and they're just on some nurture campaign. So this is the no-brainer. Like those are the 2 things that your CRM should have. It should have in some sort of, they're called like usually a smart list or something along those lines. So something to tell you who you should be talking to, because you aren't going to go through your whole CRM. It's never going to happen. So your CRM needs to tell you who to call. And then it should have campaigns built out for you. So you can always have your people being dripped on, because we're not naturally good at follow-up. That's the whole point of your system.
Yes, love it. Couple other things that I implemented into my business last year that I think has really, really helped with a lot of things is I basically decided to do the same type of marketing for every listing I have. So every house gets a video. Every house, obviously we already do professional photos. Clearly not everybody by looking at the MLS, but most good agents are doing professional photos. I do one thing I do is Zillow 3D tours. My photographer, one of the things that they said was, if you do a Zillow 3D tour or the Zillow showcase, you will be seen by significantly more people. It actually shoots out an email when you upload that 3D tour. So more people are seeing your property than they would if you didn't do that. So it's simple. It's a very easy thing that my videographer does, my photographer does when they come out. But I started implementing that into every single listing that I do. If it's a really, really tiny house, I don't always do the professional videos. I actually just did a video on a listing. I forgot to order the video, so I did it myself. And it actually turned out fairly well. I just did a reel on it the other day. It actually turned out pretty good, not super shaky. But it did take some editing and it did take some work, but it ended up looking really good in my opinion. But those videos, you know, paying the little bit of extra, especially if you have really nice listings, paying a little bit of money, doing those professional videos with the intro with you in it, or, you know, doing a creative video, those are always going to have more views. If you're just doing, hi, welcome to 123 Main, come take a look, that's really boring, right? We all know that. So given we all do it, but I think if you can have a little bit of a creative side to it, it's going to make the video be seen by a lot more people. One thing that is also really has helped me in this last year is having a transaction coordinator. So my title company actually has a transaction coordinator for free that we use. She's absolutely amazing, so helpful. She'll send documents out for me. She'll upload everything to SkySlope. If you're with eXp, she uploads everything to SkySlope. I literally don't have to do anything with that. And it is so, so helpful. If you don't have access to something like that, really look into doing some sort of transaction management, whether it be hiring a VA to do that. There's a program called Folio that you can do it's like through your Gmail that you can literally set up. You put all your stuff into your little folder, you put in your dates, and it will remind you of stuff. You can actually put your client in it too. It is a yearly cost. I want to say it's like $200 a year, but if you don't have the bandwidth to hire somebody per file or whatever, you don't have the finances to do that, figuring out a better way to do some sort of transaction management will change everything for you. We talked briefly in the very beginning, utilizing ChatGPT for stuff. Some things that are really important to do, like Marissa said, is you want to make sure that they understand your business and you want to make sure that it understands what your goals are. So there's like a whole ChatGPT questionnaire that you do, and then it's long, and it took me like 3 days to finish because it's breaking down your business. And then you finally send it, and then it's like, here's 25 more questions, we need to dig in deeper, and you're like, oh my God. But once you get that all done, it's got a solid understanding of your business. And then if you continuously go into that same file every single time you want to do anything business related, it has all of the information already there. You don't have to redo the whole thing. You don't have to ask him more questions. But like the other day, I asked it, I wanted to do a blog post. Sorry, somebody just pulled up in front of my house. I wanted to do a blog post because I'm using 𝗘𝗵 still too. I'm using kind of both, but I'm using 𝗘𝗵 and I want to do a blog post on there. So what I did was I went into ChatGPT and I said, when is your most recent data from? And it was like, oh, I can do data as of, October of 2025 or 2024. I was like, okay, that's recent enough. So then I said, okay, using your knowledge of the real estate industry, blah, 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 give me this information. And then it wrote out a whole blog, and I used Phil Stringer's AI chat, chatbot, what is it called? Prompt. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. Their prompt. And it gave me like a whole table of different topics. And then I asked it to break down and do the whole blog post and SEO and all this stuff. So utilize ChatGPT for things. Like you could literally ask it questions. Marissa, you could ask it, or I'm sorry, Brooke, you could ask it how to air fry chicken too. It'll tell you that. Like ChatGPT's got a lot of things. You can ask it all kinds of different stuff. Things that, you know, you would Google, you could put into ChatGPT. And then like, let's say, you know, maybe you did want to do a blog post on how to air fry chicken. You know, I'm a real person outside of realtor life. I just figured out how to air fry chicken. You guys want the recipe? You know, like doing stuff like that, like being that like normal person too really helps. Let's see, couple other things I wanted to talk about. Video, obviously video. I do a lot of referral business, and I look on Instagram for these realtors. So when I type in, let's say Arizona Realtor, AZ Realtor, I'm going through, or Phoenix Realtor, let's just say, I'm looking through all those accounts. I want to see the people who have the videos where I can hear them talking, where I can see their face. I can do all these things. I don't want just the just sold posts. I don't want to see all that because I don't know who I'm referring them to. I want to see and hear who I'm referring my business to, and vice versa. So think about that. If you want to be a referral agent, I get a ton of referrals, but if you look at my feed, there's a lot of videos, there's a lot of reels, there's a lot of stuff on there. Some of it is entertainment purposes. It's just funny, but people understand that they're sending somebody who actually has a personality. It's not just like boring, just sold, just whatever. Nobody cares about that. And you're going to see a lot more engagement on the videos and the reels than you are on a static post typically, unless it's like a vulnerable post, which those always do well. So, you know, think about putting your life out there a little bit more and doing the videos. I know that it's not always easy, but start out with your stories. And I just looked at somebody's, Lindsay Bruhan posted her stats from her social media recently. And I don't know if you guys know who she is. She's one of my good friends. Her name's Sold by Lindsay, Linzi on Instagram, but she posted in her stories, her insights. Her story views were astronomically higher than her reels, than her like the very last thing was like her post. It was like a tiny little fraction on her little bar graph. So doing those stories, you're still, people who are not your friends or who are not following you can see your stories. People can see your reels. Finding those like feed posts are a lot harder than finding your reels and finding your stories. So making sure you're using stuff like the trending audios and using things like real quick, I'll go through how I do trending audios. Marissa's really good too about finding like trending videos that are going on and sending me ideas like, hey, I just saw this, it's trending, I'm seeing it, you should do a video on this. Given I don't always do it, sorry, but it's in my mind, I'm gonna do it. So when I look for songs, or like, obviously, if you see a trend, every 3 videos, you're going to see the same song again and again. Obviously, that's a trending song, so you might want to use it, or a trending audio. What I do is when you are looking on Instagram, and if you want to look at your Instagram and see this, where there is a song title in the bottom corner of the reel, if it's got a little arrow pointing up, that means the song is trending. I will open up that audio and look to see how many reels are being made with that audio. If that audio has 25 million song plays, I don't want to use that audio. It's overplayed. It's too much. Like maybe your reel would work, but it's probably not going to go viral. It'll probably get a good amount of views, but it's not going to get as many as like maybe like a 10,000 or a 5,000 or a 2,000 song play, whatever reel usage. So I try to stick in the lower end, like 2,000 to 5,000, I love, because I think that's where you have the most chance of that video going viral or that video getting way more views than others. So
Nicole, on this, can I jump in really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
They've made it even easier now when you're editing your reel. And this is also why it's important to do things as natively as possible to their apps, because they make it easier. They want you editing in their apps. They want you doing things within it. So they try and make it easy. They try and make it obvious. They try and give you the resources. So now when you're editing your reel and you go, just in case someone doesn't know where to find this, when you go to figure out like what audio you want to add, then you click the audio button and now they just have it. It's a trending. So there's like for you based on other things that I've already chosen. And then you'll see that little arrow that Nicole was talking about, but they also have a trending one where it charts it. And so then you can see in that same thing, the first one, the number one trending audio that would put you in front of the most amount of eyes possible just on the audio alone only has 1,500 reels created with it so far. So, and like Nicole had mentioned, if you can get 5,000 or less, you're more likely to be seen. You're not just going to be buried. So you've got a greater chance of that going viral from the audio alone. And so you can just see it ranks it. What is most likely to help me go viral? And then you can see the little number of which one it is. And then obviously you just want to make sure you're listening to though. Like don't just pick the first one that doesn't have 5,000 because like a lot of sometimes some like the E-rated music will pop up in the trending pretty frequently, and that might not always align with our businesses. So
Right.
you just want to make sure you're also listening to it and
Yes.
that it like fits the style, fits the mood, things like that, because that matters too. If it's like a weird aggressive song and you're like home closing day, blah blah blah, and it's like aggressive music, people are just gonna swipe. Like it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't match.
Well, some of our closings it might. No kidding.
Right? Oh my God. I just got a call from my title company too. I'm praying that they're telling me to close.
So Marissa, it's the tweaker song is what you're referring to in your example that you just gave of the trending. Is that it?
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
what
one?
song?
That's what's coming up for me. What's the name of the song?
Yes, tweaker. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Oh,
tweaker's
I
the
was like,
number
what?
one. Yeah.
I'm just making sure I'm following along. 'Cause
Yes. Yep.
So
Okay.
Yep. So it'll just pop up right in the order. So same concept, but they make it easier for us
So-
too now. The more that we're using their platform, the easier they make it for us.
Well, and there's a lot of things. Yeah, that's the biggest thing too, like what you were just saying. Like these platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of these platforms want you to use their systems. So that's like if you post a YouTube video to your Facebook, it's going to get buried. You're going to get 5 likes, nobody cares. But if you post the actual video to your Facebook, you're going to get hundreds and hundreds of views. They don't want you leaving their platform. Same thing like what Jeff was saying about creating a perfect Canva reel or whatever. They don't want to see that as much. So if you're putting things in Canva, in Instagram, and you're doing your reels and you're doing all your stuff directly in the app, you're going to see a lot more of a view count coming through on those things. They roll out with things every now and then. Like they rolled out with the trials, which Marissa said she tried and it didn't work very well. I'm going to try it and just see, but the trial thing is when you do a reel, sorry, my house cleaner just got here. So it's going to be a little chaos in the corner. When you open up your reel, one of the things is trial. And so it will show your video to non-followers first. And then, oh, I locked the door. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Hold on. Marissa, you want to tell them?
Yeah. So the trial, it typically, or the point of it was to show it to people not following you. So then it doesn't hurt your existing, like you won't lose followers if it doesn't go well or it doesn't connect. So the point is you can try out different styles of content and it's going to put it in front of new audiences. And then if it doesn't go well, then it just basically dies there. And if it does well, then they expose it to your entire audience and more people. And so it's like this little like buffer just in case when you're trying out new content or you want to do something. But I'm like, why not? Just the whole point of a reel is reach. Go put it in front of everybody. I don't care. Like, and why am I going that crazy and off topic and unauthentic to me that like I need a trial period for it? So it just like I tried 2 just out of curiosity. And neither reel got even like more than a couple hundred views, but that is the entire purpose of reels is reach. And then your carousels, that point is nurturing. So you're going to nurture your existing audience with your carousels. And then same with stories. Stories are typically going to nurture your existing audience, but it's more through that video. It's more showing up as your talking head yourself. You're just more authentic. So that's the different types of content, like when you want to use those things. Nicole, did you want to touch on anything else? Because we are at 101. We're just going to give everybody the newsletters. We do have a totally step-by-step how-to guide of how to use them. So we were going to walk through it with you in case anyone had questions, but we'll just give it to you guys. You can follow it. Let us know if you have questions, but it's going to break down that content for you. It's going to get it custom to you, your clients, your niche market, and you will see those open rates that we have talked about. and that engagement. So try it out for a month. That's the point of it. It's 4 weeks of content. So try it out, see how you like it, see the benefits that you're getting from it. We'll put up a QR code too, so that way you guys can either scan or
I want to say something really
I just
quick.
put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I want to say something really quick. So it's 4 weeks of content, right? And when I first started doing these newsletters, they're weekly. And I was like, oh my God, people are going to get so annoyed with me sending these out every week. And Brooke and Marissa were like, let's just see what the open rate is. If we see a ton of people, you know, not engaging or not opening or whatever, maybe we'll dial it back. But my open rate has been great. What is it, Marissa, or Brooke, do you know about what it's been? I think it's like 60 plus.
You're anywhere from, yeah, you're very high. You're about 60%. And like, for example, I actually, because I can't focus on one thing at a time. So I actually just made Nicole's newsletter while we were on this call, because I was going to show you guys anyway. But like her local event this week.
If you guys,
like,
I'm sorry, hold on. If you guys have time, if anyone wants to stay on to see, do you guys have time, or do you have another call to have to be on? Because if you want to continue and just show them, whoever wants to fall off can fall off. And if you
He has 27 minutes.
I would say, yeah, we have a 1:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a 1:30 with someone on this call, so.
Wait, real quick, guys, before you
Um,
do that, Renee has a quick question about
Oh,
hashtags. Can you
thank
speak
you.
on that real quick? Yeah.
Hashtags. Yeah. So Marissa, do you know anything about hashtags? I mean, I still think hyper local hashtags are your best bet. So doing things like, you know, I'm in Ann Arbor, right? So I do Ann Arbor Realtor, Ann Arbor Real Estate, MI Realtor, like Michigan
Oh,
Realtor,
stuff like that.
Ann Arbor Real Estate, moving to Ann Arbor, relocating to Ann Arbor, relocating to Michigan. Like I try to do some hyper local stuff, not necessarily big, wide hashtags, because I don't need somebody in Florida to see real estate life in Michigan. Nobody cares. But if you're trying to get a higher reach, yes, use those hashtags. I don't know. And Marissa or Brooke, tell me if you know differently. If there's like, I know before they said use 30 hashtags, then 15. I just use the ones that I feel like make sense for that post. And I will say, if I don't use hashtags on a reel, I see less views than if I do use hashtags.
I heard,
7. Oh, go ahead,
Okay.
Renee.
no, that's the thing. I heard that less is more now.
Yeah.
And again, if I ask 3 people, I'm probably going to get 3 different answers, but we're going to consider you an expert. So that's my question.
So
Yeah,
7,
7 is the sweet number that I've heard lately, at least for the last handful of months or so. It does change all the time. So we just got to try and stay as relevant as possible. But 7 seems to be the sweet spot. I put it on maybe every few reels just to see and kind of test things out myself. I don't notice a difference, to be totally honest, in reach on my reels with hashtags versus my reach without hashtags. So the bigger difference that I have found, because they are using Instagram like a Google SEO now, right? But what they're looking for and what pops up actually is this: your name, that bolded line, the name in your thing, not necessarily like your handle, but the name is when they're searching Instagram, the name is what comes up. So that's where you want to make sure you have at least your first name. And then usually what I'll tell people is put like either that little line thing or a dash or an emoji or a something, and then think SEO optimized words after that. So Southeast Michigan Realtor, relocation specialist, whatever, right? Like maybe it's your certain city, but something slightly larger. Like if you've got a really cool area that you can name for your niche market, you want to be niche enough that you actually pop up, but not so niche that then you're not coming up enough in searches, if that makes sense. So think of your name in Instagram as the more important part for the SEO and the searching when it comes to Instagram now, more so than hashtags.
Yeah, so mine says nicoleelizabethrealestate, the little straight up and down line, Ann Arbor, Michigan Realtor. So then when people are searching, I should come up because I have my name, my full name, my area, my city, what is this called? Career, choice, path. What is my thing? What is this called? What do we do
Realtor.
here? Profession. That's the word I want.
Occupation.
What is this? Yeah, occupation, whatever. Sorry. Okay, so back to what you were saying. If you guys have time and you want to show what they're doing, anyone who wants to drop off can. It looks like everyone has stayed. So if you want to show Brooke what we're doing, and then you guys can talk about the QR code for the newsletters. Again, like I said, I thought it was going to be like too much, but it has proven otherwise. It's gone really well. So Brooke, go ahead and share screen.
Hey, while you're doing that, Nicole, what kind of audience are we talking about? Is this like maybe some leads that you had in your database, some personal, like, that open rate? How many people did it go to? And, are these people that you barely know that just came in from Zillow or another lead source, et cetera?
Well, so we have, to be honest, I think my CSV file was, my lead. So I have two. So I have one for agent attraction, and then in Modern Agent Blueprint, we're supposed to have one for Modern Agent Blueprint, and then which I don't think, Brooke, have we been doing one for Modern Agent Blueprint? Have we? Okay, hopefully. Have you guys been getting email?
Well, not since the past couple of weeks, because we haven't done anything.
Okay, yeah, you're right. So we have one, sorry, my brain is fried apparently. So we have Modern Agent Blueprint. So there's one going out to everyone who registers for these events, for these masterminds. You go on our list, and if you go ahead and if you're not on that list for whatever reason and you opt in, then you're going to get those newsletters that just have like our stuff in it. Then we have I have an agent attraction one that's got agents only in it, and then I have a Sphere, KV core leads, all those other leads, they get that other email. So past clients, current clients, random leads, all those people plus my Sphere get the other one.
But these are all done through Flowdesk, right, Marissa and Brooke? That's
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Julie, I'll speak to your question
um,
really quick, and then Brooke, I'll let you go. I just want to answer Julie's question slightly differently. So most of our clients, we recommend starting with your past clients, your existing like warmer leads, and then we help you generate a lead capture too. So we're getting all of your new business goes through your newsletter first, and then to whatever resource we want to drip them on. So that way you're always feeding new, and any new leads. Let's say you use Follow Up Boss. We connect your Follow Up Boss with your Flowdesk too, so that goes back and forth. So if they come in through one of our lead captures or they come in through your FUB, then they're going to get added both ways. So all new by default. What we'll usually do is for colder leads, we're going to put it on a different list just so it doesn't mess with spam or people like marking things bad. It's not that we don't put them on the campaign too. It's spam issues that we're worried about. And if all of those people unsubscribe, it hurts the list as a whole. And so we have them separate in a list. So that's where we'll see the warmer people. That's where like Nicole's is mostly warmer. So it's people that have closed with her in the last few years. She's really great at loving on her clients. So she's that 60+% But we've got clients with, I don't even know, thousands and thousands of leads in there. And they're still getting that 30-40% open rates, even on the colder list.
It's still great.
Because
That's amazing.
it's a more
stuff.
engaging email. So they're more interested in opening it.
It's not just boring. And the subject line matters, I can imagine, right?
Yeah, Brooke does a really good job of coming up with some like clickbait type, interesting things that people want to open. So it's not necessarily like Nicole's newsletter, boring, delete, nobody cares.
Right.
All right, go ahead, Brooke.
So,
you want to make it,
ideally,
can you do the full screen share or like present?
can you see the full thing?
Yeah, click the Xbox letterhead side, and then go to present.
Okay. So basically this, if you clicked our link in the chat box, this is what you're going to get. So you don't have to like screenshot this or anything, like you're genuinely going to get this exactly. So basically what I created, I don't know if there's a lot of background, the lady's vacuuming here. But basically what I created is a template copy, and then there's a prompt copy. So for each week, I take the template copy and I copy all of this. I put it into ChatGPT and I say, this is what I want my newsletter to look like, right? And then I tell it like, don't do anything until I tell you go. And so then I send all of this, and then I copy all of my prompts. So basically what I built for the whole entire year, actually, which is why I'm giving you the first 4 weeks, is it totally rotates different cool local specific things. So this week is a local event. And then, so it tells you like you could do like a night out, family fun. There's a featured property, a homeowner hack. So section 2 and section 4 change every week. So section 4 here is a homeowner hack. And then section 2 this week is the local event. So, and then it does a little introduction that also updates with what's going to be in the newsletter, right? So I copy all of this and then I'll show you like what I get.
And ideally you're putting
So,
this into the chat where you've already trained it on your
yes.
clients,
So
your
see,
business, all
this
of that. And if
is-
you don't have that prompt, ask Nicole for it.
Right. So this says Nicole newsletter voice. And like you can see, like even I have Brooke's emails. So like when I respond to all of my emails, this is my just Gmail voice, right? And you can, I also, when Nicole was talking about this earlier, ChatGPT makes my plans for me. So if anyone knows me on social media, I am always out and about. I literally ask ChatGPT what I should do and it knows what I like because I like good restaurants and I like fun events. So yeah, I have a lot of personal things.
I
But
remember, really,
anyways-
I have to say something really quick. So I remember being at the event with you and Marissa and Phil Stringer being like, let me take a picture of this menu and let ChatGPT tell me what I like. Cause it knows
Yeah.
like this, this, and this. And it literally looked at the menu and it was like, this will be the best drink for your taste tonight or whatever. And he drank it. He was like, this is amazing. So it's really interesting. And here's one
Yes.
quick tip. So see how see how Brooke has all of her stuff labeled. If you just type in something into ChatGPT, it's going to take like the first line or it's going to like summarize. Make sure that you have your, like you actually title it to what you want. So like mine, I have in all caps, it says my business with like 6 exclamation points. So then I know to go back to that one when I want to ask questions from my business. Like you can see she's got projects up here.
Yeah. So this is something I don't know if this is new or what, but I just saw it the other day. So I started playing with it, but I made a folder for Kurt and then it has like different chats. So like I think I can keep all of his stuff together. I'm not sure how it works, but we'll see.
I was just
I'll
thinking
let
they
you guys
should have
know
something
about
that you
that.
could like, I wish they had something that you could flag or star so then it stayed at the top, but this is a great
Yeah.
way to be able to do it. Go ahead. Sorry to
Right.
interrupt.
So basically all I did was I went in and I copied the template and then I said, don't do anything yet. And I said, now here's my prompts. Ask me any questions for what you need me to fill in the prompts. Boom. It gave me 3 different local events. I picked this one. Actually, funny story. While on the Zoom, I also texted my friends and said, do you guys want to go to this event with me on Saturday? So the event that's going in Nicole's newsletter, I'm going to. So it starts and it says, hope you're having a great blank day. This week I've lined up a local event, a featured property, a clever homeowner hack that you want to see. Stick around, it's all right here. I change it just a little bit, right? Like I take most of what it says, but I give it my own little spin. And then the next section is the local event, which this is a comedy night at Stella's Black Dog, which I'm sure Julie knows it's in Plymouth. So
It's right across from
that's
your
really
house.
That's right
cool.
by where you just parked. You
right
parked on
behind
that
the
side
post.
street behind
Well,
the
see,
post.
look,
Behind the
look.
post.
But look, I don't even know. And but is
You're
it gonna be
going.
cool? I bet it's gonna be cool and it's local. And
So
I'm
why
not
are
even
people
from this area.
Googling when
This is
they
like
could just use this? Or why are they those
what I'm
top
saying.
search things you
So
talked
I
about?
have built
Why would you do anything else
built
than
these
this?
prompts to like
Yeah.
exactly. I built and I use all of Phil's stuff. Like I've learned everything from him. So I'm pretty I'm a prompt queen now. And then the featured property. So I don't use the Zillow link, but I use Zillow to pull the information because ChatGPT has already previously worked with Zillow. So it connects really well. So I give the property address and the Zillow link, and then it pulled up this information from it. And then I'll put Nicole's direct link to her website on the newsletter. And then the homeowner hack was about smart plugs, which I actually made a note. Let me show you guys. So this is a template because I was logged into my Flowdesk, so I have to share this to Nicole's. I'm going to edit it some more. But I started with an intro. This is one of the templates that we give you too in the pack that you're going to download. So it says, here we go. Here's my local event spotlight. I literally copied and pasted, and then I put in some pictures. And then I add the link to the tickets. So people can actually come on here. And this is one of the first things they see. This is the section on your newsletter that gets the most traction. So you always want to make sure this is like your best thing because I'm opening Nicole's newsletter because I want to do something this week. Or like there's something in there that I know I want. Like I'm just curious, like what's the thing she's going to send me this week? And I probably didn't, like Julie, did you know this was happening on Saturday?
No,
she's gonna
but
be like, yeah.
it sounds like
Oh,
fun.
cool.
Yeah, no, I
Right?
didn't. Yeah.
It's the first week back. So like, that's what, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm going to go. So it's $10 tickets. So that's fun. And then, okay, I scroll down because now I'm just curious. And then boom, here's a listing highlight, right? And then you'll click
You
it
put
and it'll
that
take
in?
you to her website.
Did you
Yeah.
put that in there? Okay.
Mhm.
And
And then,
you
so
took-
this has
where
like a
did you
little
take
like
that?
info on it.
Where'd you take the photo from? And
I just pulled it
like-
up. Like I just Googled it.
Or
Right.
Zillow, because it's on
Like-
Zillow, so you can just take a
Oh,
screenshot
you've
of
already
it.
got the template and then the address.
Yeah.
And the address and all
Yeah.
that.
So
And then
the template
Yeah,
has
so I
these
have this-
photo blocks, it has
Oh.
the word blocks,
Yes.
it has all the buttons. That's the template we give you. And then the chat GPT
Yeah.
prompt fills in all the content. So you're literally just copy paste and then dragging in some pictures. That's it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And adding links. So then it goes down to the homeowner hack. So it talks about smart plugs, which again, like I'm not done with this one, but you kind of get an idea. So at the end, Nicole actually knows that I do this sometimes. Like Nicole's favorite things are sometimes my favorite things because that's just how I put things in. But like at the end, it's like, I said, which I don't know if I'm going to do this, but like I just threw it in here just to give you guys an example. Like I started, this is about changing your light switches to like flappable ones or ones on your smartphones. So I said, I started with my bedroom lights. Now I can stay in bed and turn my lights off. LOL, talk about lazy but efficient. Like I doubt she turns her lights off from her phone, but
No, but we're gonna leave that
I
in
just
there
add
because
fun
it's
things.
personal.
right. It's personal. And like she could do that in a second if she wanted to. It's not a hard thing. And then hers actually has a picture of her talking about buying or selling. And then it does search new homes or free home evaluation. So both of these links go directly to her website. So this would be for a buyer, and then this goes straight to put in your address. You can get a free home evaluation, and then that's the end of it. But if you get this, this is personal, right? We add a little personal touch to it, but it's still a little tip. We get a house. Everybody loves to surf Zillow anyway. So you're sending them one house to look at in their local area. They're definitely going to click it. We get really high click rates on these actually, which
the
drives
link to the
traffic to your website.
The see it.
It links
goes
to her
both
website.
websites?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't do
So-
it yet though, to be honest.
So
So-
really quick though, if you don't, let's say you don't have a listing, you could do, it's the featured property of the week. It doesn't have to be your listing. It could just be,
Yep.
maybe your featured property is the highest priced home in Wayne County or in whatever, and then you have the link to it. People are interested in seeing that stuff. So don't just be stuck on, I have to put my listing in here. Well, I don't have a listing, I'm not going to do it. Change it up. You can change it to say something different, like highest price. Are you want to see the highest price house in Washtenaw County this week? Here it is. So think about, like,
Right.
don't necessarily, it has to be this. Like you can alter this and change it to whatever you want it to be.
There was a few questions on
Yeah.
that in the chat regarding like, could it be your team? Has anyone ever been like worried about offending somebody using someone else's listing? No, there's going to be like one agent in the whole world that's going to care that you're helping market their listing. You just apologize and move on if they happen to find it in your email. But like, yeah, if you don't have a listing, you could totally use someone else's on your teams, your brokerages, if you wanted to like start there as more of a comfort zone. But you can literally, there is nothing that says that you can't use other agents' listings. They're on the MLS.
Yeah.
And
EXP.
also,
This
Go ahead.
is
Go ahead.
Well, I
this
was
is
gonna
the
say-
template, just so you like, I know you were looking at like what it would look like. This is the download you get. So you literally, like, you can see I put in like, it's almost like prompted for you. You would just delete this and then paste in the whatever ChatGPT says, and then edit it. I always recommend like read it over, see if you want to change the tone. I did set the tone where it's like pretty friendly vibes, like professional friendly. So it should be good, but if you want to add a little personal flair, but
And I
it gives you
I
the
would
outline
also-
here.
Sometimes too, if you want this to be like really your voice, say it out loud, read it out loud. If it's not the words that you would use, same thing with scripting. If it's not words you would use, go back and change them to yours, or say like, whatever it might be, maybe you would use a different word than what's ChatGPT gave you or what the prompt gave you. Just change it up a little bit. Have it sound like you. Julie was going to say this a minute ago, for those of you who are with EXP, we are all within the same brokerage, so we can share each other's listings without having to ask permission. So if you want to do like top 5 properties, or there's a realtor in our area that does like my favorite property of the week, and it's just a house that she saw on the MLS that she likes the features of that house. So she just takes the photos from the MLS and zooms in on certain things, or shows the address, shows who listed it, shows, all the stuff, but it's like the little details. And I actually enjoy when I see her post on that, because I also find it interesting, or I like to see those things, or if you're in a house that you showed that has interesting things, like people like to see that stuff. They like to see, not everybody likes these cookie cutter houses. So think about like this, the house with the most character on the MLS this week or something. Like you can literally make this a thing that you do every single week, or you do everything. Like people will start to want to see what you found this week. Like there's other realtors. My friend Yaz, she's like the real estate foodie. Like I love seeing what restaurants she went to. Brooke, she likes to have cocktails. I like to see what cocktails she's drinking at different places, what cool bars she's found, or what cool hangout places she found. Like those are the things. Like Lindsay, who's on my team, she works out all the time. I like seeing her workout videos. I like to see what she's doing in the class. So think about the things that you're interested in and incorporate that into your newsletters and into your socials, because people want to see who you are outside of real estate. It doesn't have to just all be real estate. Julie loves pickleball. You could be putting in there pickleball court or pickleball, whatever. Like you can do any of these things and make it really honed into your ideal audience, to who you want. Like Julie, I'm sure you would love to have 5 clients who all play pickleball, who all love you, who all want to work with you at some point or refer their friends to you. Well, you have this niche, right? So you have these people who you already know, or maybe you can know. So I think it's just important to figure out who those people are and try to speak directly to them. This was a long one. I really appreciate it. Oh, put up the QR code again so people can download it. I know you put the link in the chat already. So if you don't see it, comment, but I'm going to post it again. Here is the link. So you guys have this, you can do the QR code. And then if you guys have any other questions for Brooke or Marissa, all of the contact info is there. So if you're interested in that, trying to hire them to help you sort out your mess, like I did, or maybe it's not even a mess, maybe it's organized chaos in your brain and you just need somebody to help you figure out what to do, I highly encourage you to talk to them and see if they can help you and what that looks like. If it's not something that financially you can do, just start writing out some of the things. Like first thing, it's the beginning of the year, do your brain dump. If you can at least do that, post some of it in our group. We're here, post it in the group. Let's see if we can maybe help you. Maybe you don't know what the next step should be. Maybe you have all your chaos written down and you're like, where do I go next? Share it in the group. We'll comment and say, hey, next step is categorize it by this, or do it by this, or maybe you should try this first. But just like when you're, I don't know if any of you have done any of this like personal work, but trying to figure out like where triggers are in your own personal life, if certain like emotional things, you're constantly asking why? Like, why is this important? Like, what is this feeling? Why is it important? Why? Same thing with your business. I want to do this. Why? Why do you want to do newsletters? Well, I think it's going to be able to, connect with my clients. And why is that important to you? Well, because if I connect with my clients, then I'm going to be able to I'm going to come up first of, top of mind. Why is that important? Because then they're going to think about me for business. Like you keep breaking it down, why, and then you're going to have this super clear picture of what you need and why. And when you have your why, you have more motivation, right?
You're going to do a rhyme again.
I thought about it,
No, but also that example, I mean, why wouldn't you want to be better with your sphere and past clients? Because, we're all out there, oh, what's the best lead source? Oh my gosh, if you could just dig deeper on, and guilty, staying in touch with your past clients, my goodness, so much more enjoyable business to have referrals and repeats and all that stuff coming from people that already know you. Well,
and I think it's also important, and this is something that I'm realizing because my lender just told me yesterday that one of my past clients reached out to them and wants to buy an investment property, but they're using a different realtor. And I'm like, why? And then I started thinking, I'm like, okay, I was just at their house. I just did a pop by. So where did I miss? Where did I miss something here? Like I did they got my pop by. I was over there. I popped by something. Oh, I think I dropped something off to them in the summer. I'm friends with them on socials. They invited me into their house right before Christmas. So where did I miss?
I
You know
think they
what?
maybe thought you didn't cover investment properties. They thought
So
that wasn't part of your
that
business
is my
plan.
thought. That's
Yeah.
exactly my thoughts. Then I
right.
thought maybe I need to do something in my newsletter where I say like, you know, I do all these things. Did you know that I do this, 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 or maybe even do a postcard to my past clients? My other thing that I was thinking of is I'm really good about doing Christmas pop buys, but that's once a year. So I need to spread things out throughout the year where they're thinking about me. Because if I only do around Christmas, yeah, like I'm glad that I'm sure they're glad that I thought about them then. But what about in July or May or whatever, when, maybe they had a friend that was thinking about moving, but they kind of forgot that, they loved me or whatever. Maybe they were like, oh, hey, so-and-so, you should try so-and-so. I just saw them. They had listed a house down the street. So one of my things that I want to implement, Brooke and Marissa, is making sure that I'm doing stuff throughout the year. They already know this, but making sure I'm doing stuff throughout the year. So I'm constantly showing up in front of them instead of just once or twice a year as I've done in the past. So with this client, it's fine. It's whatever. But here's the other thing, guys. Oh my gosh. Sorry. This is totally off subject. But
Nicole, before you go on to the next one, because you are on a freaking rocking roll and I love it so much, but we have to jump because we're meeting with Adam at 1:30. So please guys, follow us, chat with us. If you've got any questions about newsletters, the brain dumping, anything, we would love to just be able to, any sort of resource for you. Seriously, anything at all. Instagram's probably the best place to reach us as like a place to start, but we love jumping on Zooms. We love coffee dates. Like, let us know. We want to be a resource for all of the people in this community. So please don't hesitate to reach out and we will hopefully maybe be back sometime soon, Nicole.
All right. Thank you.
See you guys.
Okay. So really quick, I wanted to talk to you guys about another situation that I just came into, and maybe you can help prevent this from happening from one of your clients. So I had a client, she told me she moves every 2 years. And I was like, yeah, okay. She literally bought a condo 2 years later, decided to move. I don't even think it was 2 years later. Just about 2 years later, decided they wanted to move into like an independent care. They're a little bit older. They decided to want to do independent care. So they are independent living, I should say. So they bought a place, sold their condo, bought a place, moved in. They're getting my reminder magazine. They're getting cards. They're getting birthday cards. They're getting all the stuff from me. I just found out when I sent my Christmas card, she emailed me and said, hey, just wanted to let you know we moved last month. And she was like, I'm so sorry. We really wanted to use you, but we were going to go to this open house. And then I got sick and I couldn't go to the open house, but I spoke to the realtor and she reached back out to me. And in order to go see the house, I had to sign a contract with her. So I ended up going with her. I was really confused about the whole thing. So
we need to be educational about, is that what you're
yes,
saying?
I think we need to be really good. I think we need to, send out something, email past clients or whatever to educate them on these new rules, because just because we know about it and maybe they did just buy 2 years ago or a year ago, she hasn't even lived in this place 6 months and they moved already.
And first of all, what did she have to sign with that listing agent to be able to see that house?
Well, she signed the buyer agency agreement.
But she didn't have to. It was
she went to a showing, not the open house. She was going to go to the open house, but she got sick. So she must have reached out to the realtor.
Still that realtor still represents the seller. She didn't have to make her sign a buyer agency contract, but I guess.
But I ended up losing out on a $400,000 deal because my client didn't realize that she didn't have to go through that agent, that she could have went through me. So I think, again, think about your client and your age demographic. Those people aren't looking on Instagram. I'm friends with her on Facebook. She sees all my stuff. Like, I think it's just important to, we're going to miss some, and there's nothing we can really do about some of these things, but I'm just trying to think of, I look back, I actually audited Brooke actually did it for me, but we audited every last client I've had, every single client I've had, and have they moved again without using me? I only had one. but now I've had 2, and I have 1 person buying, or I've had 2 people buy investment properties without me over the years. And so I want people to know that I help with investment properties. It doesn't have to be a $600,000 house. I will help you with an $80,000
Yeah,
house.
some of them think that's just below your pay grade. Like, oh, we bought a $600,000 house with her. Surely she wouldn't want to help us with, I don't know, a $200,000,
Yeah.
$150,000 investment property.
Well, and I also had somebody who told me, that same lady told me, oh, well, it looks like you're super busy anyways, which is
Yeah, you
also
look too busy.
like,
Don't look too busy on social media. They think you're
Right.
too busy for them. They
it's
do.
just like heartbreak, because it's like you want to
Yes.
celebrate your success, but you also then might
They think you're too busy.
somehow, like
For
ostracize,
their piddly
or,
little
like,
transaction, right?
yeah, you might push away somebody who wants to use you because they think you're too busy. So, think about these things and how you could fix, it's all about growing. It's all about learning and analyzing and figuring things out. Some of it's going to be some losses, right? Like, we're going to lose things here and there, but if we can mitigate as much as we possibly can,
Yeah.
so think about things like that. I challenge you to audit your previous business and see if anybody has bought without you. That way you can also take them off your list if they've moved and you're not sending things to them. But it's a good way to figure out how, is it the age demographic? Are they friends with you on socials? Are they seeing things? Maybe it needs to be an email. Maybe it needs to be a handwritten card to these people, things like that. So just think a little bit about your business, and this is the perfect time to do it. We're slow. It's a great time to audit your business and figure out where you need to be able to excel and thrive in 2025.
We need to bring back the top 50 spreadsheet, right? To make sure you're touching all your top 50 referral people every single month and track it.
Yeah, top 50, but also,
Well, not only top 50, but that's a method just to pick your top 50 raving fans. We should bring it back at one of these Modern Agent Blueprints. But I want this recording as soon as you have it. I know you post it to YouTube, but I think we should put it in our team page too, because this is all amazing information.
Thank you. The other thing real quick that I will say too, sorry, my hair is driving me insane. I'm always fixing my hair in these videos. Take your whole business from the day you started until current, put them all on a spreadsheet, and then divide them up by sections. Now that section could be township, city, any of those things, and just break them down. It doesn't even necessarily have to be that for Popeyes or for sectioning out. Like, you don't want to you're not going to do Popeyes for every single person every single time.
Right.
So maybe you do 25 people are getting the Popeye, everybody else is getting a card or a letter or an email. Then the next, now that section moves down. Those people are back up there getting newsletters, getting cards, whatever the other people are, and you're just sectioning out your people. So that again goes in your business planning on how many do you want to send out? What do you want to do? What are you committing to? Figuring out each quarter what you're committing to, and then moving, you just keep moving that chunk down. And then you keep track of that in your spreadsheet of, okay, do X boxes or X's all the way down. These people got the Popeye, these people got the card, not even X boxes, but write it out. It's so helpful to have your plan and see it in front of you instead of like in your brain. So if we're taking anything away from this mastermind, it's do your brain dump first, get it all out. Like I swear it was word vomit. You know what helps too? If you have 2 different things, voice memo, you could just speak it all out. Or if you have Microsoft Word, and I bet you could do it in ChatGPT or other things too. There's a dictation thing that you can click it on and just talk, and it will write it all out for you. And then I bet you could put it into ChatGPT and say, okay, can you please categorize this for me for my business? And then it'll take it all and do it all for you. But sometimes just saying it out loud or doing that instead of trying to type it all out or write it out by hand, it's a lot easier. So depending on the type of person you are, it might be easier to just speak it all and then get it all categorized like that. So do your brain dump and then start working on categorizing it. That's my biggest takeaway, because it helped so much with all my ideas and all my things that I had in my head. And it's definitely
so liberating, isn't it?
It's taken a toll off.
A weight off your shoulders. Yeah.
Yes, it's definitely taken a weight off my shoulders, because I feel like I got it all out there And now
It's
we're
being
not,
handled at some point, right? It's in
right, and
some
we're
stage
not,
of being handled
and we're
instead of
not
just in
doing
your
it
head.
all. Yeah, we're not doing it all right now,
No.
but it's all figured out. And like, we just did our business planning and it's like, okay, we have Level Up coming up. I want to do my client event. I want to do, I want to
Okay.
start doing these like elder care, you know,
Mhm.
courses, classes, whatever. You know, I want to do these different things. So like, we're putting that all into action, and it makes a world of difference when you're trying to just start. Because a lot of times you don't know where to start. So if you can figure out, get it all on paper and then break it down, that's where you're going to have the biggest relief. So, all right, this has been an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. I know this has been a really good one. I know I feel like I've talked a lot, but I think that this has been a great mastermind. And, you know, these are the kind of things that we like to do. So be here next week. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be on next week. I have to do an all-day training. However, we're going to be back with Kristen Cantrell. If you don't follow her on Instagram, you should. She's great. She'll be on next week. So we will see you all there. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.